Hello and welcome back to our Promises of God study. This is Promises Kept, and we are on Promise Kept number 85 out of our 150, and we're back in the Psalms for this particular promise. It's in Psalm 146, and it is verse number 7, but I'm actually going to start reading from verse 5 because it's again one of those times where we're kind of in the middle of a thought. And just to say it, this psalm is one that isn't written by David. At least it doesn't say it. So we don't know who wrote this one, but it's great nonetheless. So I'm going to start, like I said, in Psalm 146, verse 5, and we'll read down to 7, which is our promise verse. Blessed is he whose help is the God of Jacob, whose hope is in the Lord his God, who made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, who keeps faith forever. And our verse, who executes justice for the oppressed, who gives food to the hungry, the Lord sets the prisoners free. And that is the promise there. So there's a lot to be seen in there, starting in verse 5, where it says, blessed is he whose help is the God of Jacob. And we've studied this before. Jacob was the name of the person, Israel, before God changed his name. So a pretty great thing here. I think sometimes a lot of Christians are thought to be against Jewish people for some reason, maybe because of what happened on the cross. And interesting to see here the words, blessed is he whose help is the God of Jacob, the God of Israel. Not forgetting that our God is the God of Israel. We Christ followers are following the God of Israel. We should love Israel because our God is the God of Israel. Our God is Jesus, who is from the line of Israel. Jesus is Jewish. So there's no sense in hating Jews, Jewish people, anything Jewish, because we believe in the God of Israel. So anyway, and it goes on, whose hope is in the Lord his God. Personal relationship. The word there, Lord, is the Yahweh word, which is the name of God, the personal God who came down from heaven to be with humanity. That's the God we believe in. And our hope is in him. Because he's personal, because he's not just up there in heaven directing things. No, because he literally put skin in the game, sent his son, Jesus, God in the flesh, came to this earth and made things very, very personal in that he took the sin of the entire world on his personal body instead of the sin of the whole world being borne by the world. God didn't have to do that. God didn't have to redeem the world of skin, but he did. And he did it in a very, very personal way. He suffered greatly for us. Verse 6, who made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, who keeps faith forever. So just a little nod of the hat to the fact that God is the one that made everything in the earth, in the sea, in the heavens themselves, and the earth themselves, and the sea themselves. God made everything. And a beautiful statement, who keeps faith forever. God cannot be faithless. God keeps his promises to you eternally. So there's no one like God, right? He made everything. He sees everything. He keeps his promises forever. What a great God that we have. And verse 7, our promise verse. Who executes justice for the oppressed, who gives food to the hungry. Now here's one of these statements which, again, there are plenty of people on the earth, Christ followers, who are oppressed and who die in oppression, who are hungry and who die hungry. So these are spiritual words when we talk about God executing justice for the oppressed, who gives food to the hungry. I just need to know that spiritual food is given to anyone who's hungry. If you are seeking spiritual food, the food from heaven, the food that comes from Jesus, that's eternal food, the food of life, that is what God promises to give to the hungry, those who are hungry for him. And who executes justice for the oppressed? Well, like I said, on earth, your justice might not come, but the wicked those who are oppressing those who are innocent, those who are oppressing Christ followers. Justice will come for them in a terrible form. It comes in the form of hell. And so though your justice might not come on the earth, the promise is still true. God is faithful to give justice to those who are oppressing people who are innocent, people who are Christ followers, people who are needy. The justice is coming, and it's not pretty. And then the greatest part here of the promise verse, the Lord sets the prisoners free. That's you, that's me, that's everybody on the planet who has ever sinned. You are in prison. You are in captivity. You are a prisoner to your flesh who's following the ways of Adam, which is the way of sin. You can't help it. We can't help it. We are sinners by nature, by birth. And God's rescue plan was to send his son, Jesus, to set the prisoners to sin free. When you believe in Jesus, you're set free of that sin nature. You're given a new nature. The Spirit of God is within you, and you have that desire to want to follow God. You are set free from yourself. You're set free from the fact that you will go to hell, and instead you get heaven. You're literally set free of the sin that entraps you. There's so much freedom in Jesus. It's a beautiful, beautiful promise. The Lord sets the prisoners free. Everybody on earth who chooses to believe in Jesus will be set free from their eternal captivity in hell. Today's the day to turn to Jesus. There's so many beautiful promises. He's faithful to keep them all. Keeps faith forever. Will keep you safe in heaven forever. Set free from your sin nature forever if you would just turn to Jesus. So hopefully today is the day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.